This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple talks Russia and Ukraine, a change in the company's approach to COVID, and awards aplenty for CODA. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of March, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Nimble and quick. They're words that a lot of us have been saying since we were kids. We say the words and we don't even think about them, but nimble and quick is exactly what you want your business to be. Notion can help. For companies of all sizes, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring them all together to get more done and move faster. Nimble and quick. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that is simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. With powerful integrations and seamless navigation, you'll have everything you need in one spot so you can make speed your advantage without the silos and context switching that slow companies down. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today, again at notion.so. Apple is done with Russia for the time being, at least from the outside. 9to5Mac says the Cupertino company has pulled the Russian information apps RT News and Sputnik News from the App Store and stopped all product sales in the country. John Pikowski, tech and business editor at BuzzFeed News, posted a statement from Apple on the issue to Twitter that had the company saying, "We are deeply concerned about the Russian invasion of Ukraine and stand with all the people who are suffering as a result of the violence. We are supporting humanitarian efforts, providing aid for the unfolding refugee crisis, and doing all we can to support our teams in the region. We have taken a number of actions in response to the invasion. We have paused all product sales in Russia. Last week, we stopped all exports into our sales channel in the country. Apple Pay and other services have been limited. RT News and Sputnik News are no longer available for download from the App Store outside Russia. And we have disabled both traffic and live incidents in the Apple Maps in Ukraine as a safety and precautionary measure for Ukrainian citizens. We will continue to evaluate the situation and are in communication with relevant governments on the actions we are taking. We join all those around the world who are calling for peace." The report points out that Apple's moves do a lot of what Ukraine Deputy Prime Minister Mikhailo Fedorov had asked the company to do. Late last week, Fedorov asked Apple to stop supplying Apple services and products to the Russian Federation, including blocking access to the App Store. Fedorov thought that might upset youth and the active population of Russia enough to lean on Putin's government to end the invasion. Some of that Fedorov got. 9to5Mac says while the company has stopped product sales in Russia and has stopped the country's disinformation pipelines through the App Store out of Russia, the App Store in Russia remains available. It was not only the world at large that Apple addressed on Tuesday. Apple Insider says the company's CEO Tim Cook also emailed employees on the situation. Starting off with words of concern, Apple is more than matching those with money. Quoting the email, Apple is donating to humanitarian efforts and providing aid for the unfolding refugee crisis. We are also working with partners to assess what more we can do. I know that many of you are eager to find ways to support as well, and we want to help amplify the impact of your donations. Starting Tuesday, Apple will match your donations at a rate of 2-to-1 for eligible organizations, and we will make this retroactive for donations to those organizations since the 25th of February. Cook concluded his email saying, "This moment calls for unity, it calls for courage, and it reminds us that we must never lose sight of the humanity we all share. In these difficult times, I take comfort in knowing that we are united in our commitment to each other, to our users, and to being a force for good in the world." Strange goings-on in Apple retail regarding testing and COVID-19. iDownload blog highlights a Bloomberg report. According to that, vaccinated employees will need to self-test for COVID-19 twice a week, up from the previous once a week, but they don't have to tell anybody how the test comes out. In a message sent to employees on Tuesday, Apple is said to have said, "Based on what we've learned from our testing pilot, everyone will now be required to self-test twice per week regardless of vaccination status. In addition, if you were submitting your test results for verification, you're no longer required to do so." Maybe the thinking is if you were conscientious enough to get vaccinated, you'd be conscientious enough to tell people if you test positive. iDownload blog says all of this is being done with an eye toward dropping masks for both customers and employees. While mask mandates are falling for Apple retail shoppers in various parts of the country, Apple says team members should continue to wear a face mask in store. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said last week that Apple was looking to make that change for employees in the near future, though no announcement about that so far. Work on future operating systems continues. A few pieces from Mac Rumors on Tuesday had Apple releasing the 5th betas of iOS and iPadOS 15.4 to developers, along with the 5th betas of macOS Monterey 12.3, watchOS 8.5, and tvOS 15.4. Those same betas hitting Apple's public testing program today seems a pretty safe bet. Ahead of the launch of iPhone in 2007, Apple had an idea for how developers could develop for the revolutionary device: web apps. And boy, did developers hate that idea. What they wanted was to be able to install apps natively, and thus was born the jailbreak community. A year later, when Apple introduced the App Store with its 30% commission, there was seriously much rejoicing. 15 years later, a group of software engineers out of the UK are angry with Apple for holding back web apps. The Mac Observer says the group has launched Open Web Advocacy, a movement to challenge Apple's ban of third-party browsers on iOS and encourage the adoption of web apps. According to the Mac Observer, the group's 3 top priorities are: 1, the Apple browser ban. Apple's ban of third-party browsers on iOS is deeply anti-competitive, they say. It starves the Safari WebKit team of funding and has stalled innovation for the past 10 years and prevented web apps from taking off on mobile. 2, deep system integration. Web apps need to become just apps. Apps built with the free and open web need equal treatment and integration. Closed and heavily taxed proprietary ecosystems should not receive any preference. And 3, web app equality. All artificial barriers placed by gatekeepers must be removed, they say. Web apps, if allowed, can offer equivalent functionality with greater privacy and security for demanding use cases. Are there no other browsers on iOS? Yes and no. The piece had Open Web Advocacy organizer Bruce Lawson telling the Register, the motive of the group is to try to persuade Apple that they need to allow other browser engines on iOS so the iOS can be a better platform for developing stuff for the modern web. Because at the moment, every browser on iOS, whether it be badged Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, is actually just a branded skin of Safari, which lags behind other browsers because it has no competition on iOS. The Mac Observer offers a bit of clarification on that. saying all third-party browsers have to use WebKit, the open-source rendering engine used in Safari. Safari has features that other mobile browsers don't, such as full-screen videos, full-screen games, web app installation, Apple Pay, extensions, and in-app browsers. iOS WebKit browsers are also missing over 30 APIs, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from BetterHelp Online Therapy, sponsor of today's show. BetterHelp wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. That's really all any of it is anyway, isn't it? I had a bunch of stuff weighing on me from outside when I worked with my last therapist, but we couldn't change what was outside. Just how I dealt with and handled it. That's what BetterHelp helped me do. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. As I say, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and macOS Ken listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. The problem with Jon Stewart is out one head writer. The Hollywood Reporter says Chelsea Devantez has left the Apple TV Plus unscripted series for an overall deal with Disney's 20th Television. The multi-year deal will see Devantez write and produce comedy projects and supervise other writers, according to the Reporter report. News of a new series from Apple TV Plus that makes me a bit uneasy. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Tuesday announcing a series inspired by the 1927 silent classic Metropolis. Apple says the series will be written and directed in its entirety by Sam Esmail. Esmail is probably best known as the creator of the series Mr. Robot. No word on anything about the Metropolis project except for who created it and that it is happening. I love Metropolis. This makes me nervous. I will not be taking any questions at this time. An Academy Award-nominated actor is joining a few Academy Award winners on an Apple TV Plus show. Deadline says Cody Smith-McPhee will star with Oscar winners Cate Blanchett and Kevin Kline in the series Disclaimer from Academy Award-winning director Alfonso Cuarón. Based on the novel by Renee Knight, Deadline says in Disclaimer, Blanchett plays Catherine Ravenscroft, a successful and respected television documentary journalist whose work has been built on revealing the concealed transgressions of long-respected institutions. When an intriguing novel written by a widower, played by Kline, appears on her bedside table, she is horrified to realize that she is a key character in a story that she had hoped was long buried in the past, one that reveals her darkest secret. Smith-McPhee is up for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar this year for his part in Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog. And finally today, the Apple TV Plus film CODA is turning into quite a little award factory. Over the weekend, the film won Screen Actors Guild Awards for Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotsur, and Outstanding Performance by a Cast. Now news of 5 more awards. A piece from the Mac Observer says the film picked up 4 Hollywood Critics Association, or HCA, Film Awards Monday night. They included Sian Heder for Best Adapted Screenplay, Troy Kotsur winning again for Best Supporting Actor, It got the HCA Spotlight Award for the primary cast, including Amelia Jones, Marlee Matlin, Troy Kotsur, Eugenio Derbez, and Daniel Durant, and the film won Best Picture in the HCA Film Awards. But wait, there's more. A piece from iMore says the film has also been honored with an NAACP Image Award. Held over the weekend, the piece says CODA took home the trophy for Outstanding Independent Motion Picture, winning over such films as American Skin, Bruised, Test Pattern, and The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain. Apple TV Plus titles and actors had been up for a total of 9 NAACP Image Awards. CODA was the Cupertino streamer's only winner for the evening. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.